Brooks, and in this video I'm going to be going over or reviewing our go to training from week 3. We learned a lot of things in the go to training session, and a lot of it proved to be very useful while building my application for Project 3. In the first thing we talked about was, or the first thing we went over, is the importance of using and reviewing and really using this titanium documentation. And we talked specifically about the scroll view documentation, and a lot of it proved really helpful, especially when trying to lay out my image views and my views inside a horizontally inside a vertical scroll view, and really looking through the properties for and looking at the examples and looking at all the properties that you could use for the vertical scroll view really helped me to solve that problem. The next thing we talked about is image views and laying out the image views from the file system. So creating, like for Project 3, I created an array with my images from my file system. So they came from my image folder and the training folder through here, and I was able to create a directory list, my variable directory list, and create a directory listing from that file system sources directory, and then create an array to display it in my image views. We also talked about debugging the code, and an example of that for my Project 3 is when I first created these close functions and views down here at the bottom of each window that opened to close the window. What was happening was originally I just created one variable and one function in one view for everything, and used it, or excuse me, one function and everything, and used it for both windows. However, and it didn't show any errors or anything like that. However, when I launched the emulator and clicked on that close button, and clicked on the close button right here, without failure, every time it came to the bottom and it says crashing, so it made the emulator crash. So that was a prime example of, and the reason for it was I was trying to close an event that was not located, that was actually located in a different window. So my workaround for that was to create a different view. So I use a closed box 2 view, and put that inside the window that it was trying to close. So that was probably the biggest thing. And the craziest thing is it did not show up as an error while I was coding. It actually showed up when I was doing the emulator, but it made it crash every time. As far as go to training 3, that really sums it up. I mean, the biggest thing I probably took out of it is the documentation, and really being able to read this console log for errors, and being able to identify what's wrong and where it is in your code, because it can be a problem finding it if you don't do that. Well, thank you very much, and I look forward to week 4. Thanks.